anyone who really thinks that the Labour government still speaks for trade unionists or for the working class just needs to, I think, reflect on some of the following statistics. Now, we could quote many, but let's just look at these for a few. Since 1997, 1 million jobs gone in manufacturing. Current predictions are that in the next 10 years, 1 million jobs will be offshored to India and China by not just multinational companies, but increasingly by our own public sector, where wages of 1/5 that are available in the UK will mean that companies can make billions while workers lose their jobs. It is a fact that the Blair government has privatised more parts of the civil service than the governments of Margaret Thatcher and John Major combined. Can you fathom it? More privatisation in Blair than under Thatcher and under Major. We have compulsory redundancies in the public sector. Thousands in the health service, and within the last month, the first compulsory redundancies of civil service workers in a generation. Not even during the dark days of Thatcher or Major did the Tory government turn on its own workforce and sack them on a compulsory basis, but now we have a Labour government that has started to do that. We have since 1997 £70 billion spent by the government on private sector consultants. Currently, one government department has saved £105 million by getting rid of civil service workers, whilst at the same time has spent £106 million on bringing in private sector consultants, some of them paid 10 times a day more than the civil service workers that they have replaced. And comrades, if we look at what we're about to see now in the civil service, the union which I represent, it gives us a real indication of what the government thinks of public sector workers. 30,000 civil servants on the national minimum wage. 25,000 civil servants earning less than £15,000 a year. 30,000 job losses in the Department of Work and Pensions, meaning that now some of the poorest, most vulnerable people in this country are forced to ring call centres in order to claim job seekers allowance, pensioners credit, or for the sick and the disabled. And when they ring the call centres, of course, they can't get through. 21 million telephone calls last year went unanswered. And did anybody notice the little nugget revealed a month ago that the poorest people who now have to phone call centres to claim benefits are charged for the privilege, and the government has made £300,000 profit from the poorest people ringing call centres to ring benefits. Then we have the obscenity of what the government is doing in the Ministry of Defence. Now, the Ministry of Defence at conferences like this are often the most popular part of the Labour movement, but the reality are there are workers who work in the MOD who have been subjected to the most obscene attacks by this government. 30,000 now face privatisation. My union agreed this week unanimously on the National Executive Committee that we are now moving to a national strike ballot for the whole of the UK civil service. In January of next year, a strike to defend pensions, to stop privatisation and to stop compulsory redundancies.
We want meetings like this in every town and city in the country. We want to do what we did around the war with the Trade Union Freedom Bill. Let's get outside those Labour MPs' surgeries and say to them, why the hell are you not voting for the RMT Trade Union Freedom Bill? You're only here because the trade unions put you here. Now damn well get out and vote for this bill.